Box office top 10 this week. At 15, the Eternal Daughter.
Which I really like. I think Joanna Hogg has made many ghost stories over the course of her career, but this is the first one that declares itself to be a ghost story. Tilda Swinton, playing two central characters and amazingly, improvising the dialogue with herself. And I think it's beautifully shot and very atmospheric, and I liked it a lot.
Susanna Wiley, wonderful atmosphere, very M.R. James, very 70s BBC in a good way.
Yes, it is.
In
absolutely.
the sound design, setting and literary references. Tilda Swinton is magnetic and very precise as always. Green Giant from our YouTube channel. There is no doubting Tilda Swinton's gift for her craft, playing two characters so convincingly, but some of the ad-lib dialogue felt unauthentic, stilted and pointless.
Really?
There were some interesting themes, but the haunted hotel seemed like a caricature of itself, and large parts of the film were too slow and rather dull. The dog was excellent, though, and the hotel receptionist's demeanour did make me chuckle.
Yes.
So that came out in the States last year, but it's 15 here. Number 10, number 18 in the States, Anatomy of a Fall.
One of my favourite films of the year. It is just an absolute edge of your seat ride, despite the fact that it is basically people talking in rooms. Fantastic performance by Sandra Huller. It's a treat. Go see it. It's fantastic.
New at number 9, Love Actually, 20th anniversary.
How old does that make you feel?
Very old. Well, 20.
No, but I mean, isn't it astonishing that Love Actually is 20 years old?
Yes, and the revisionists will not be happy that it's back in the top 10.
Well, the revisionists can go revise.
Number 8 here, number 17 in the States is Tiger 3.
Which wasn't press screened. This is the Hindi language action thriller. Doing very well, but as I said, wasn't press screened, so I haven't seen it yet. So if anyone has, do we have any emails?
No. Number 7 here, 5 in the States, Thanksgiving.
Eli Roth takes a spoof trailer and makes it into a less interesting feature film and reminds us all that actually the Grindhouse Project was overrated the first time round.
UK number 6, number 4 in the States, Trolls Band Together.
I mean, it's still there. It's still doing what it says on the tin. It's Trolls Band Together. It's perfectly fine.
Number 5 is The Marvels.
Which, I mean, it was interesting last week that somebody wrote us a letter saying that they had enjoyed it, much more than I thought. And certainly it seems that if you've seen the film adjacent television programs, you get more out of it. I wanted to like it, and I agree with Stephen King's point that there was a certain amount of just kind of ugh girls thing going on in the reaction to it. But it is a car crash of a film.
Number 9 in the States is Saltburn,
which I think I like more than you do. I think Barin,
in as much as I preferred Promising Young Woman.
Yes, I mean, I think they're both interesting films. It felt to me like Saltburn was more kind of coherent, and I like the kind of gothic, erotic thriller thing about it. And I think Barry Keoghan is terrific.
If you're thirsty in the bath, take in a glass
that's
of water.
really stuck with you, hasn't it?
Take in a glass of water, Barry.
Can I be honest with you? I don't think that scene is about being thirsty.
It's clearly about thirst.
Suddenly realizes that's what's going on.
Clearly realizing he's thirsty. He looks around. He hasn't got a glass of wine or a bottle of beer or a glass of water.
So he decides to just lick the plug hole.
Yeah. Wish is at number 3 here, number 3 in the States. Andy Stevenson says, bland with a capital blah. Brilliant. Couldn't agree more. Not terrible, but instantly forgettable and far too similar to Raya, Frozen and Encanto.
And everything else. I mean, the point is, it is almost like an advert for Disney's centenary posing as a feature film. It's not bad because, of course, it's not bad. It's sort of machine tooled to be fine, but I think bland with a blah is absolutely right.
Number 2 here, number 1 in the States is Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Yeah, I don't like songbirds and snakes, but I know that other people think that it has what it takes to love it. That didn't quite work, did it?
It's an old 70s.
Yeah, I know. Our listeners will know that.
Number 1 here and
we got no emails about that.
No. Number 1 here, number 2 in the States is Napoleon. I was some emails here.
Go ahead.
Mark says, I was looking forward to Napoleon when we visited our local Art Deco Lux Theatre in downtown Los Gatos, California.
Okay.
Joaquin Phoenix reprising his role as Commodus in the guise of Bonaparte, the stunning Vanessa Kirby as Josephine, with the mighty Ridley at the helm. What I got was Carry On Napoleon. The battle scenes...
Oh, I think that's harsh.
The battle scenes were, of course, terrific. Set pieces, Ridley loves a forest. But he does. But the derisory grasp of history and the staccato scenes were more akin to Draftsman's Contract or Carry On Up the Khyber than Gladiator.
Hang on.
Take the central...
Sorry, just read that sentence again.
The staccato scenes were more akin to Draftsman's Contract or Carry On Up the Khyber than Gladiator. Take the central relationship. No sooner had they got married than she was having it away. Why? Was she damaged by her jail time? By the way, how did her lover survive? We never found out. In a recent Guardian review, the French journalist explored Napoleon being successful because he lied and exaggerated his achievements. This comparison to modern world leaders we know would have been interesting if explored. They say that Ridley in his dotage is an impatient man on set, not fond of retakes. He must be equally impatient in the edit because this was a frenetic romp through often made-up history. I'd say that Ridley at 85 is living proof that Biden should not go for a second term.
Wow.
Wait for a longer Netflix version. It might be better paced. This is because a Sony film executive was quoted as saying that Ridley at 86 now, I think he is, yes, he is the best argument for a second term Biden presidency. Dan Knight. I've just finished absorbing the great banquet of wine and cheese that was Napoleon. While I greatly enjoyed it, the recent headlines and reactions to the film not being historically accurate have somewhat irked me. Mm-hmm. While I understand the importance of showing events accurately, I do find it annoying how film and television appear to be the few art forms that aren't allowed to take dramatic license for the purposes of entertainment, which is what all these things are. No one bats an eye at the inaccuracies in Shakespeare's Roman plays, or, to go even further, Boney M didn't write a 10-hour song detailing the entire life of Rasputin. Never mind, I would add Belfast. These things are just entertainment. There are countless books and documentaries available for those who want the absolute truth. Had to get that minor rant out now. Big fan of the show, Dan Knight. Dr. Bob says, I'm a lifelong adherent to the Code of Conduct, but something happened in Ridley Scott's Napoleon that made me audibly gasp and involuntarily utter the words, "You've got to be kidding me."
Yeah.
I'm a historian, and in an effort to broker peace between my people and Mr. Scott, I've been talking a good game in the historians group chat about how we all need to lighten up and give him a chance. But 39 minutes into the film, and I knew exactly where this was going when I got...
Okay, is this the yelling from the ramparts?
No.
Okay.
We find Boney sitting in a carriage, clutching a copy of a newspaper purporting to be the Times of London. This is one of the worst historic newspaper props I have ever seen, and I say that as something of a connoisseur. Back in December 2017, you read out one of my emails complaining about the equally awful newspaper props in The Man Who Invented Christmas. I described this as, quotes, the smallest hill I'm willing to die on, which ended up inspiring a long-running feature in which fellow listeners sent in their own cinematic
That's right.
peeves.
Yes, exactly.
So Dr. Bob was the start of it.
Thank you.
So what's wrong with Napoleon's newspaper? Firstly, it's got massive headlines on the front cover that read something like something from a Murdoch paper. Bonaparte's tear-stained letters to his cheating bride. Cuckolded general's heartbreak laid bare in intercepted letters. But it's worse than you think. Back in 1799, the front pages of British newspapers like this were entirely made up of small, densely packed adverts, and the headline, as we know it, wouldn't be common for more than a century. In fact, the Times still carried nothing but ads on its front page deep into the swinging 60s.
Is that right?
When I mentioned this fact in my last email, Mark made a mild noise of surprise.
Yeah, no, I just made it again.
So we've learnt nothing. The front page of Napoleon's paper also features a satirical cartoon, common in other mediums at this time, but not British newspapers, and a weirdly modern typeface. But that's all I could catch in the few seconds it appeared on screen. This all might seem rather petty, but it's like filming a story set in the 1920s and having a character casually pull out an iPhone. Media history matters. Anyway, I guess I'm still out here dying on that hill. If you meet Ridley Scott, please don't tell him where to find me. He sounds cross. All the best, Dr. Bob. He does sound cross. You're quite right. He certainly sounds cross at historians.
This is what Ridley sounds like.
But Ridley's, as we mentioned, Ridley's argument, were you there? In which case, shut up. Is such a useless...
In which case, effing and jeffing, shut up.
It's such a useless argument. But I remember when the newspaper appeared, you went... I don't think everybody knows about headlines and Bonaparte's tear-stained letters. That is very Murdoch.
But also the fact that he had written to us before telling us that thing, and I was surprised the first time, and then I completely forgot it, and then I was surprised the second time because I do have a butterfly brain. But that is a brilliant email. Can I just refer back to the email beforehand, which said it was like the draftsman's contract or carry on up the Khyber.
Yes.
Which is like saying it's like a block of cheese or an asteroid. I don't. Sorry. What
staccato scenes is the point, Mark? It is.
Yes, but for a start, draftsman's contract doesn't have that, and so firstly, I don't get that. Secondly, I think that you're. Well, I mean, look, everybody is perfectly entitled to react to film as they wish, but I disagree with a lot of what you said. But thank you for the email. Child 1 went to your local cinema because she lives not far from you to see Napoleon, and she thought the film was very interesting. But unfortunately, the experience was largely spoiled by the gentleman sitting next to her, who not only ate noisily through the whole thing, but removed his shoes.
Well, anyone would know that that's at least two bits of the code of conduct broken.
I said, why didn't you move? She said it was a full cinema. Which actually is a good thing. Yeah, she said it was full. That cinema that you used to refer to as the Gangster's Paradise was absolutely packed to the gills with people watching Napoleon and taking their shoes off.
Thanks very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. While you're here, check out all the other videos because they're cool too, aren't they?
Yeah, and if you want to keep up to date with everything Kermode and Mayo's take, then check out our social channels.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
I mean, I would. I have done.
Excellent.